What up, everybody? InstructaBeats back again here with our statistics unit. Today we're going to be looking at showing numerical data using a dot plot. So let's look at the data and check out our objective today. Today I will be able to represent the data collected visually by using a dot plot. But first we need to rewind back to our very first question we are asking in one of our first lessons. It says, what is the typical number of stuffed animals owned by the students in my class? And you collected the data, and you can see that one person had 8, one person had 4, one person had 2, one person had 1, and so on and so forth. So we want to show this data visually by using a dot plot today. But the first question is, what even is a dot plot? So in our next few lessons, we're going to be checking out 3 different visual models that you can use to show data and make generalizations and make quick decisions on the data that you have collected. Okay, so the first one is going to be a dot plot. So a dot plot uses dots to represent frequency in which data shows up, hence dot plot. It's a lot like a line plot, if you're familiar with that, except instead of using an X, you're going to use a dot. That's basically the difference, right? And frequency would just be the number of times that the data shows up. So what is a dot plot good for, right? So there's 3 different ones. Why would I use a dot plot? You want to use a dot plot when you have small sets of data, right? So not if you've collected 200 responses to the question, but if you have like 10 or 20 pieces of data you've collected for your statistical question, this would be a great way to represent that. And this is really good at showing groups and outliers. So if you just watched our last lesson about when you should use mean, median, and mode, you remember that we did a dot plot, and it really showed you kind of where everybody was grouped up together, and then the one outlier we had. So it's very good at looking at it quickly and being able to figure out kind of where's that central tendency, and then where are your outliers at. So for our we do problem, we have the same question, and now we want to put this visually on a dot plot. So just like a line plot, you're going to have a number line here. We could call that our x-axis, and we're going to split it into intervals that make sense for us, right? So we're only going from 0 to 8. That's our range. And so, okay, I'm just going to make this one 0, and you want to try to split it into as equal groups as possible. And I'm going to be a little bit short, I think. I'm going to have to group some together. I'm doing my best, though. There we go. And then you want to label your x-axis. So what are we putting dots on for? This would be your stuffed animals. So in this dot plot, a dot is going to represent a person, right? Or a person's response to the question. And then the numbers down here represent the numbers of stuffed animals, okay? So now all we're going to do is if someone responded 8, we're going to put it above the 8, all right? Someone responded 4, we're going to put a dot above the 4. Someone responded 2, we're going to put 1 here, then a 1, we have another 2, we had someone say 0, we had someone say another 2, someone was able to say 5, and then we had 6 and 7. So this is what our dot plot would look like for this question. Now again, this is really good because I can quickly tell the mode, and I can tell that this is unimodal, which means there's only one number that's the mode, right? 2 is the mode right here. I can see that very easily. I can see really that there are no outliers, that my data kind of has an even spread, or it's dispersed evenly, right? We have kind of 1 for a lot of them and 2 had a bunch. You can't find the mean just by looking at this. You still have to do the math, but you could possibly find the median by crossing them out, right? So you could cross out your 0, then your 8, then your 1, and your 7, then one of your 2s, your 6, another 2, a 5, and then you're down to 2 and 4. You average those out, and you could say your median was 3. All right, and we're not going to worry about finding the mean, but right, you'd add them all up to find the average of the stuffed animals people have. Now, again, this is a great way to kind of see where everything is grouped, right? It's a great way to find the mode very quickly. It's a great way to find the outliers and then make a judgment, say, you know what? The most people had 2, but it was quite spread out other than that. Let's do a U-try problem. So here we have our frequency chart. So for the U-try problem, it says Javier was collecting data on how many goals his soccer team scored throughout the season. Below is a frequency chart that shows the goals. Transfer this information to a dot plot to visually show the information. And my question says, typically how many goals did his team score? So my statement is going to say, his team typically scored blank goals. So go ahead and pause the video right now, draw out your dot plot, put your information on the dot plot, and then push play to check your understanding. So hopefully you just paused it. Now you're checking your work. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to draw my x-axis right here. And I can see that I have 0, 1, 2, 1, 0, and all the way to 8. So I need to go from 0 to 8 again. All right, so I'm going to just split it up right here. And of course you want your number line to be as even as possible. And then we're just going to put our dots on the plot, right? So in game 1, he had 0 goals. Game 2, he had 1 goal. In game 3, they had 0 goals. In game 4, there were 2 goals they scored. Game 5, there was another 1 goal. Game 6 was 0, and then game 7 was 8. So again, I can quickly see that there's an outlier right here. I can see this is a unimodal set of data because there's only one mode. 0 is your mode here. All right, that's the number you see the most in your data. And I know if I'm trying to figure out how many goals his team typically scored, I don't want to use the mode per se because this is not categorical data. And so I want to use either the mean or the median. Well, I'm not going to use the mean because when I look at my dot plot, I can very quickly see that they had one outlier. Maybe the other team's goalie got hurt, or they just played a really bad team, and they scored 8 goals in game 7. Well, that was not usual for them, right? So I don't want to use the mean. I want to use the median. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross them out one goal at a time. There we go. Keep going. I have 2 1s, so obviously the average of 2 1s would be 1. So I'm going to say his team typically scored 1 goal. Get rid of that S to be grammatically correct. And again, I use the median. I'm saying that 1 is the center of his data. We can expect them to typically score about 1 goal. Now, you can see they were really grouped around 0 to 2 right here. That's one observation you can make. You had an outlier, and you can see that it was unimodal. Again, dot plot really good for small sets of data where the numbers are close together, because otherwise your number line, might have to be from 0 to 50. You don't want to draw a number line that big. And it's a really great way to quickly see where all the data is grouped in your outliers. Thank you so much for checking us out today. We really appreciate it. We would love if you would like, comment on the video, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love for you to subscribe, join our InstructaBeats family. Again, thank you so much. InstructaBeats out.